Hello everyone. So this is going to be our third part of the series of comprehensive guide for students and young graduates who are searching for a job in the IT industry or any other technical industry. So let's dive into the topic. Okay, so in the last topic, in the last video, we were looking at the written English, which is the second topic of the written test in any industry, especially focusing on the IT industry. And now we are going to look at the third one, again part of the written test, which is the programming skills and the core skills, right? So to give you an overall idea, so what we are looking as which is the first cycle in the series of assessments which are done in the IT industry. The first one is the written test, in which first we looked at aptitude, and then we looked at written English, and the third topic will be the programming skills or the core skills, right? So in the first video itself, I explained you about the core skills, which is basically for non-IT students. For example, if you are from electronics background or from electrical background or communication background, and then the test will also comprise of questions from your subjects, like core subjects, like the digital electronics or embedded systems or whatever the core subjects that you studied, depending upon your branch. Those questions can also be asked, right? And the second one is the programming skills. Again, this category again depends upon which company you are trying to apply for the job. Okay, for example, if you are trying in an IT company, most of the time they stick to only to the programming skills. They don't go beyond programming skills most of the time. But if you go to a non-IT company like any electronics company or electrical companies, there they include the core subjects. Okay, so now in this video we are going to look how we have to how we can prepare for both the skills. First, look at the programming skills. Okay, in the programming skills, actually what they will ask is like basic programming questions. They're not going to go very deep, like into advanced topics or complex topics. The questions will be on basic programming. For example, they will give you a program and they will ask you what is output of the program, right? They can also give a program and try to find out the error, whether there a syntax error or a compiler error. All these kind of questions can be asked, which are basically basic programming skills. In terms of core questions, the questions can be from your subject, as I mentioned before. It could be mostly multiple choice questions, right? Or most of the time it is multiple choice questions which can be asked from your subjects. Okay, and then now let's look at how we can prepare for these programming skills or the core skills. One of the way that we can prepare is to especially for the programming skills, is to go with the online tests or quizzes. As you know, we have so many online tests and quizzes which the students can refer, right, and which can be very handy for people who are preparing for these kind of examinations. So let me look at online programming quiz, right? Like you can focus on one programming language, or you can focus on one or two programming languages. Especially I would suggest Python and JavaScript. So these two programming languages widely used across many software development fields. So you can very well prepare for these two programming languages, right? So let's look at Python, for example. So if you see here, there are so many suggestions from Google. You can go to any of the suggestions and you can go to Python quiz, and you see there will be a lot of questions. If you just click on start the Python quiz, you have a lot of questions. There are 25 questions here which you can go one by one, right? This is an example. You can also go here and choose any other programming language you want. So the other most popular programming language which is used in the software development is JavaScript. So as a student, as a young graduate, if you can just focus on these two programming language to become an expert in the programming, especially to focus on the written test. So once you complete these two programming based on the quizzes, then you can move on to the next way by which you can become strong, which is previous placement question papers, right? As I said, there will be dedicated video on this topic which I will cover in the future, to focus mainly on the previous placement question paper, in which we will cover so many other topics as well. So these are the different ways the students can become strong in programming skills as well as the core skills, right? And another thing that I will suggest, especially for the core skills, is students can try to prepare based on the gate preparation. As you all know, once you complete UG, if you want to prepare, if you want to go for PG, then you have to write the gate exam, right? This gate exam preparation, if you buy a gate book, that will cover almost most of the important subjects from your particular core branch. So that is why I suggest strongly for students, if you want to go into core industry, especially electronics or electrical industry, then it's better you start preparing for gate. And this gate preparation, of course, you can start from your third year onwards. So even though you may not do PG or any higher studies in the future, but that will surely help you when you are preparing for an interview, especially for the written test as well as for your technical interview, where the gate covers most of the major important subjects in your UG, right, which is more than sufficient. In case of programming skills also, I would suggest, as I said, you can try online tests and quizzes. Apart from that, you can also try to do lot of programming by yourself, right? So which also I will show you. For example, after learning the basics of programming, right, which you can learn through any YouTube video, right? There are so many YouTube videos that are available. So which is handy for you, like once if you have done that, right, when you have prepared for the basic programming concepts, for example, whether it is Python or JavaScript, through YouTube videos or through Google resources, right, that's the first step you have to do before you really go into the test quiz or anything. So after having done that, then you can focus on this quizzes, and then to run and test a program, right, you can directly use an online compiler. Right here it is showing C compiler. You can also do for any compiler, right? So that sometimes you will see that they give the option directly in the compiler to change the programming language, or you can search for specific compiler, like you can say online Python compiler, which will give you the compiler in Python language, right? If you go here, then this will have the complete online. It's not an IDE, but it's basically an online compiler which can help you to run any program, and you can see the output of the program itself. And you can see here, you see that try program.pro. So by this way you can learn easily programming. If even if you run into some errors also, you can debug them. So by this way you can really become an expert in the programming language. So these are my tips to become an expert in programming skills and to prepare for the written test, which will help you to clear the written test. So we covered the most three important parts in any written test: the aptitude, written English, and the programming skills. So please stay tuned, students. We'll be looking at the technical interview and all other major topics which are part of the fresher interview process. So please stay tuned, and please like, share, and subscribe my video. Subscribe my channel and share my video across your friends so that they can get benefited. See you all. Bye.